How do you find the time to work on your blog and serve your audience? Well, that's the question that we cover in today's Clarity session. Hey, it's Brian Dixon, and you are tuned in to the Clarity Sessions. This is episode number 7, and you can find all the show notes and a video version of this show at briandixon.com/clarity07. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Allison from shedreamsofalpine.com. And she's struggling to find the time to work on her blog and serve her audience while also working a full-time job. And if you can relate to that, you are in for a treat on today's episode. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
I'm in my first year of my business. I have an outdoor adventure travel blog.
Awesome.
And I'm loving it. I'm loving every part of it, but I still have a full-time job. Mm-hmm. And the hardest part for me is like finding time to do the part to create raving fans and engaging with them and being like really active with them and like being there for them on social media and everything, but also like doing all my content and all the work that needs to happen because I only have like such a limited time.
Yes.
So I guess what's the best way to approach that?
Yeah, that's the 4-letter word, right? Time, Time.
Yes.
So how do you do it in the margins, and how do you engage people? I think there's kind of two schools of thought there. The first one is I think the questions I would have are like, where are you leading people, and what do you want them to experience? And so getting clarity on that. And then the other sort of way to think about it is, what can you do to like just create a schedule so you can go from being the strategist and the implementer, the person that has the ideas and does all the work, to being just the person who has the ideas and getting the work done in another way. So either, batching, so like you create, 5 or 10 posts at a time on like a Sunday afternoon, and then it would be scheduled to go out over the course of the week and sort of doing that way, or even, bringing on some interns or some people that can kind of help you and building some systems in place. So maybe let's start with the first question, which is like, what's the goal of the blog? Who's it for, and where are you eventually leading them?
So my ideal customer avatar is women who are really wanting to break out of their shell and use outdoor adventure as a way to kind of gain more courage and get more confident in themselves and like push themselves and farther than they ever thought that they could push themselves.
Yes.
That's like a high level.
I love it. So that's like the message, right? That's what you have for them. Like you can push yourself to the next level or push yourself to something that maybe is out of your comfort zone through the medium of travel. Yeah.
Travel and like doing harder things outdoors, like not just going for a hike, but like being the person that leads a backpacking trip or goes solo backpacking or, picks up rock climbing and discovers that passion for themselves, stuff like that.
That's awesome. So where are they before they find you? Like, where are they really stuck in their life?
So I've actually been doing a lot of calls, one-on-one calls with my ICA recently, and a lot of them don't know where to start. Like they have information overwhelm and they feel like at least in regards to backpacking, like they're like, I just don't know how to get started. I feel like I'm going to get lost, or like, I don't trust myself in navigation, or I'm going to mess everything up. They're very just like fearful. They want to like good plan, and they want to be confident as they go into something because they've never done it before.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would do is as you're doing those calls, which is great. So you're taking, and now how did you find those people to do those calls?
So, I have an email list. So I've been producing content for a year. So I reached out to a lot of people on my list, and I've reached out to people on Facebook groups. I'm like, hey, if you're a beginner backpacker or you're beginner and you want to get into backpacking, like I'm creating some new content and I would love to have one-on-one calls with you, and Instagram as well.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. So you're doing these one-on-one calls, you're getting to know them, you're asking them a bunch of questions. Yes. What I would start doing is like brainstorming a list based on those calls. So that you're not really brainstorming, you're more capturing a list of the questions that they keep asking.
Yeah.
So usually, the whole idea is people pay for the pain to go away. And people pay not just monetarily, but they pay with their time and they pay with their attention. So what are the pains that they have when they're thinking about backpacking?
Yeah.
And you probably already have a list of questions that you've been gathering through those calls.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the content that you'd write. And so that way, when you know, that ideal avatar is on her phone, and she's like thinking about a backpack trip because she just watched a movie or she saw something on Instagram. She's like, and she asks a question, like she puts the question into Google or she asks Siri the question. Yeah. You want your stuff to be the thing that she finds because you're answering the question in your blog post or on your Instagram feed.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I feel like I have like a ton of ideas of things to write.
Yeah.
And I think maybe my thing is time management, because I feel like I take 6 hours to write a good blog post. Like I write epics and they're long because that's the way I like everything to be there. I want to answer the question and I like,
yes,
I don't know. And then, so sometimes when it comes, I'll schedule out my social but when it comes down to it, I'm like, I have 2 hours to work today. Do I work on this thing that I'm going to like post tomorrow, or so I'll push the social out and then I just won't do any social media engagement. This week has been kind of weird because I've actually been the opposite, but that's not normal for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now tell me, where is all this leading? Like what is your dream sort of business? You want to do this eventually full time, and what kind of services or products would you provide?
Yeah, I definitely want to do this full time. And that's kind of what we're working towards is we're going to be taking a gap year soon and hopefully being able to try this on for size full time. But awesome. I want to teach people and like I'm thinking of adding in some consulting and also potentially creating some courses in the future around like the specific things like backpacking and climbing and stuff that I'm really passionate about.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. So there's definitely a few ways to make that work. What I'd probably recommend as a next step, and you've probably started to do this already because you've been doing it for a year, is to select a few models. Like, who are some other people that are doing what you'd like to do, but are a little further down the road, and what are the different aspects of their business? So, you know, maybe you'll find one of the people that you follow runs like a guided tour. Well, how much do they charge? How often do they do it? What does their website look like? Like to sort of go into investigator mode. And that way what you can do is you can have the 3 people. I always recommend 3. So the 3 models that you'd follow and then yours. And I try to do this with each thing. Like I do that with Instagram, with the website, with my products that I offer, things like that. So you could kind of check in. They're almost like they're like your team of advisors. And they're leaving clues because success leaves clues. So they're leaving clues behind where you see, they, on Instagram, they're posting about this epic trip they just did. Well, then you can go to their website or previous post and look at the registration page for the trip. And you're like, oh, that's how they did it, and sort of reverse engineer the process to get to where they are. Okay, great. That's probably where I'd start. And then in terms of the content creation part, when you write, are you more sit down, write at a keyboard, write on paper, kind of talk out ideas? Like what's your sort of style or natural way to create content? Yeah. So I'm a engineer by background, so very like methodical, and I have an idea and then I do keyword research because I'm really interested in SEO. Yes. And then I'll outline and then I write. But then after you write, it's like all the optimizations for, photos and everything. And there's a lot of photos with my stuff. So it takes a lot of time. It feels like naming all the photos and optimizing the size and everything. So maybe I'm a little too perfectionist about it, but so there are definitely, so I love that. You have this whole process that you follow each time. Yeah. Because of that, we call that a SOP, right? A standard operating procedure. Yeah. So you could use, there's a number of tools in our business. We use Basecamp as a project management software, but there's other ones. The one for SOP specifically is called Suite Process. Mm-hmm. So you can basically you record your screen doing the things that you would normally do, like record your screen. I use QuickTime Recorder. It's free. It's built into your computer anyway. But But you say, okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how I do keyword research. And then you just start doing your keyword research, but you record yourself doing it. And you capture that as part of your standard operating procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you've captured the whole process from idea to publish and even to engage social engagement, then as you look at it, you can go, you know what? I don't have to rename photos. Like the renaming photos can be somebody else's job.
Yeah.
And then that's where you could either bring on an intern, because now you have a following, you have people on your email list. So you could say, hey, I'm looking for a few interns to help out with some of our projects coming up. If you're interested in 5 hours a week, it's a free internship. But it would really help me out a lot. There are people that would love to do that. They love travel. They just want to help. You'd be surprised who says, I'll help out.
Yeah.
And then just do a little application form. You could do it that way. Or you could always bring on a virtual assistant. There's people in America, there's people in the Philippines, there's people all over the world that, are different rates and availability. But taking off when you look at your process, let's say it's 12 steps, there's probably 3 or 4 that are just Allison. That's your zone of genius. But there's a lot of other stuff that's your zone of excellence or your zone of competence that other people, it actually might be their zone of genius. They might even be able to do it faster and better. And so looking at it as a business, especially if you want to do that gap year and thinking, how can I focus on just the stuff that I'm really good at and get other people to do the other stuff?
Yeah. Like looking for ways to outsource some of the things so I have more time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It makes such a difference. We recently did a project where I asked people to create a video giving me feedback on something. And I wanted to edit, and there were 5 questions, and I wanted to edit 100 people and then answering question 1, and then 100 people answering question 2, and 100 people answering question 3. But the videos was one person answering all 5 questions and another person answering all 5 questions. Yeah. So you think it's like a nightmare editing project. Yeah. So I went to Upwork.com. I explained exactly what I was looking for with a video. I explained it in a video what I'm looking for. And I had bids from all over the world. And the person that I hired did it for $30.
Wow.
And I was happy. And I hired her again for another project a few weeks later. Yeah. So I think there's so many people willing to help. And I think that's where you are right now. You're not really confused on your message. You're not confused on your audience. The products definitely could be coming.
Yeah.
But it's really about the process, and it's just about systematizing that to free yourself up for some time. Because the next thing I would recommend you do is let's say you're able to save 1 hour a day. I would take that 1 hour a day and I would think, now what's one thing, have you monetized it at all? Is there any way that people are paying yet?
So right now, the only way I'm monetizing is through ads and affiliates, but I'm working on my small products, and I'm working on a course.
Cool.
Right now. That's a big reason behind my validation calls. I've been doing a lot of
love it.
Just validating my idea first before I kind of jump into it.
That's the most important thing you can do. I have mentioned this all the time, but any product we've ever created that has not sold well is because we didn't take the time to validate it. So checking with your audience, seeing will they actually buy it, and then even with a course, starting with a coaching program before a course will get people to pay you before you do any of the creation, so that you're creating it in step with them. Can be really helpful. So if you take some of those minor tasks off your plate and then focus on more of the engagement stuff that only you can really do, I think that would be a great way to start scaling it.
Yeah. That's where I feel like I'm at this year. It's I have this 1 year of content and I'm okay, I need to take it to the next level, actually put some systems into place to make some money and start building some funnels where I can get some more consistent income into my business. Cause it's just been a lot of free stuff up till now, and little bit of monetization here and there, but
are you doing anything with video, or is it mostly just text and Instagram?
So since I had 2 blogging conferences, one in August and the one in September with EBA. And since then I've been doing a weekly Instagram live, and I'm actually going to be starting a weekly Facebook live just so I can start retargeting those people that watch it. And also just getting more comfortable on video as well.
That's good. Yeah. And even Amazon and YouTube are 2 places that, video is really big. Amazon is actually really not fully leveraged for a lot of people. Now it's more in the book space, obviously, but people go to Amazon to buy. And I think there's a huge opportunity with video on Amazon. So it might start with product reviews.
Okay.
So if for example, let's just do a backpack. So one of your readers wants to try her first backpacking trip. She's just going to do like an afternoon, and your blog post says like, my 3 favorite backpacks, or which backpack should you buy?
Yeah.
And you have 3 of them. Well, it makes sense that you do a product review for, the blog. Well, you do the video, and now it can be on Facebook as a video. It can be on YouTube as a video, but could also be part of it could be on Amazon as a video review. Well, you can follow reviewers. So if you go to Amazon to look at that backpack, people see Allison's review. They're like, oh, I like her. Click on her picture or the video, and then follow to your profile. And on your profile, you have all these other videos. So you can multi-purpose a review video on YouTube, Facebook, and on Amazon. And it's just a way to sort of get in front of that buying audience. People go to Google to search, but people go to Amazon to buy. And those are the people you want to get in front of.
Yeah, that's super smart. I've never thought about that. I've never even thought of Amazon being like a space to tap into, but that totally makes sense.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
So where can people find out more about you?
They can find out at me at shedreamsofalpine.com.
So there you have it. I hope the tips and strategies I shared in this episode help you move forward in creating valuable content that serves your reader well. To watch a video version and to access the transcript of this episode, just visit briandixon.com/clarity07. And we're soon opening up spots for personal coaching. To get on the wait list, just go to briandixon.com/coaching to be notified when spots are available. Thanks so much for listening or watching this episode of the Clarity Sessions. And remember, your message matters. It's time to make a difference today.